Good morning and a very warm welcome to the finale of the Asia Road Racing Championship 2022 season. You join us now here in Buriram at the Chang International Circuit for the final round. And looking behind us there, we can see some of the AP250 machinery being warmed up. And we know that there's a battle in that category with Andi Muhammad Fadli. He has to defend his lead in the championship. Not only that, in the 150s, in the 600s and the 1000s, the championships are still up for grabs. Right now we're next to a championship contender himself who unfortunately isn't here with us. You can see here the signage from his team, the Showa Denki group. Haruki Noguchi, get well soon. We do send our best wishes to Haruki. We heard that it's going to be a tough recovery for him, but we know that Haruki's a tough fighter and we hope to see him back here on track. Another interesting thing about the Chang International Circuit right now is the LED board and signage that we have right on top here at the front straight. And it is quite a sight. It's quite a nice graphic that we have here. It was adopted during the MotoGP round. So we're looking forward to seeing what the graphics are going to look like up there. But for now, we can see all the bikes getting ready. The riders are ready. And we are definitely ready for an exciting final round of the Asia Road Racing Championship. And I'm going to throw it back to Barry, as we're going to start commentating on this exciting weekend.
Thank you, Daniel, for the introduction from a very quiet pit lane, but as you can hear, the silence is broken now, and the snarling sound you can hear is the sound of the 150 single engines of the Underbone 150 class coming onto the track now. As Daniel said, this all 5 titles are up for grabs. And this is one of them. This is billed very much as a two-way fight between championship leader Wayuaji Trilaksana for 1XOX TKKR Racing Team. He sits on top of the standings at the moment with 126 points, and just 11 points behind him is at Zaidi Salahan. So it's been nip and tuck between these two. 11 points between them coming into this round, and 50 points up for grabs. They are clear of the rest. They've been the most consistent finishers this year. Looking at the weather information here, it's currently 28 degrees here in the northeastern heart of Thailand, Buriram. 28 degrees. Humidity 74, which is pretty normal for now, and track temperature nice and cool, 28.9 degrees currently. That of course will rise significantly during the day. On screen there is championship leader Wayuaji Trilaksana on the distinctive number 60 machine. Distinctive because he's got a red helmet from the front when you see him, and the number 60 on the front of the machine. This is the outlap, so exploratory time for them. Warm up the tyres, and this is a 30-minute session. We have free practice all day today. This is free practice 1. There'll be another free practice session for the Underbone 150s. And then this afternoon they will have a qualifying session. The other 3 main classes, so the 250, the 600 and the 1000, will have 3 free practice sessions. And of course this season we have the TVS Asia One Make Championship, which will be having 2 free practice sessions this morning. You can see it's a beautiful morning here in Buriram as we just watch some of the riders go through. That's Izzat Zaidi going through on the number 98 machine. He's the chaser in this two-way championship battle. but this will, I promise you, look nothing like a two-way championship battle when the racing gets underway. So we expect to see anything up to 15 bikes on track fighting for the lead. So lap times for these machines are just over 2 minutes on this 4.5 something kilometer circuit. It has 12 turns, and the last of which, turn 12, is infamous in racing worldwide, because we've seen drama not only in the Asia Road Racing Championship a few years ago, we saw it in World Superbikes, and of course over the last few years we've seen it on the 3 occasions that MotoGP has been here. Some of the UMA racing machines there are also nice and easy to pick out. Purple livery, white wheels. Then all you need to do is look at the numbers. There's 2 Malaysians and 2 Filipinos. They're in slightly separate teams, but working very much as one. And perhaps the most prominent of those to stand out will be number 87, Nazrul Izzat Bahodin. Just looking at these bikes going through there. You have the number 43 machine of April King Moscado. Very fast Filipino, champion back home, and he's built himself up nicely since joining ARRC this year, scoring a P2, I think, last time out. Sorry, P2 in Sugo in round 3. Last time out was at Sepang. But April King, a seasoned rider, and you can expect to see plenty from him during this weekend. 43 running with him there. Number 124 running with him is Giancarlo Maurizio. So April King Moscado, Giancarlo Maurizio running for the Philippines for UMA Racing, and just behind them Nazrul Izzat, and number 87. And Daniel Bogus has returned from pit lane. Daniel, it looked very peaceful there in pit lane, but it's starting to, the volume's starting to come up a bit now.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone seems calm, and I think every category it's a less calm and action is on the grid. And we have championship battles all throughout each category. And I think the pressure is on for Izzat Zaidi. He'll definitely need to, he knows that he needs to get 2 very strong finishes above Wahiaji, and that's if he's able to slow Wahiaji's pace down.
Yeah, Wahiaji does go well here. Well, they both do, actually. They're both really fast here. I don't know how you pick a winner. I wouldn't put any money down for that at all. So this is wide open between these two. They are clear of Afif Amran. As I was saying a few minutes ago, they have been the most consistent finishers this season, and so deservedly they are fighting for the championship. Number 23 just going through the final turn there, turn 12, is Gobita Krishna, 2 times champion in 2014 and 2015. He's been here or hereabouts since then, but not really been getting the finishes, which has kind of been frustrating to watch, and no doubt a little frustrating for him too. But he's running for the 4SM Filipino team, actually, but he's been there for 2 seasons now. Seems happy with it. We see plenty of him at the front, so it'd be good to see him turning in some good finishes in this final round of the season.
Yeah, Peter Krishna, he's always been one to look out for, but this season might be one to forget. He's trailing all the way down in 12th, but he has had the specks of brilliance in round 4. We saw him take a very strong 3rd place on the podium, so he'll be looking to keep the momentum up and push on forward here in the Chang International Circuit.
Yeah, there he is, just running behind those 2 UMA machines. And that's April King just in front of him, number 43. We did see a glimpse there of another one of the distinctive bikes. Somebody's just gone for a little detour there. Yeah, it's Gupta Krishna chasing them, and behind them. But actually, we're lucky with liveries in this class, aren't we? Because we got that the gold livery of LFN, sorry, HB969 Indonesia team.
Yeah, it's easy to pick out all these distinctive liveries.
The liveries are distinctive, perhaps the numbers a little less so. Going through there, number 14, Pirapong Louis Bumpeng. The only Thai rider in this category, although I think there is a, yeah, in fact there's a wild card in this one, but the only Thai regular rider in this category. He's had, by his standards, a pretty disappointing season. When have we seen him on the podium? Only in Sugo. Sugo, he pulled a 2nd place in round 1, race 1 at Sugo. So Pirapong on his home track, looking to finish the season with a bang, or at least with a smile. It was interesting talking to team manager Wichi Wee, who will be known to many of you as one of the great 125 GP riders of days gone by. And he was saying just something about his team. The name is significant to him. Team, I better get this in the right order now. One for all. Sometimes I call it all for one. But he was saying the name does mean something, and what he really wants his riders to do is not be stressed, to go out and enjoy, and that's a way to get the good results. Well, who's going to argue with a master like that of riding small engine motorcycles?
Yeah, definitely a nice mentality for the riders to have, knowing that their mentor and head has given them instructions to be a bit calm, and that's really something that we've heard a lot of previous champions say in the past. Calmness really gives results.
Yeah, the other way of saying it is go slow to go fast. Yeah. The harder you try, the slower you go. So Pirapong just winding it up a little bit to slip inside Nazrul Izzat then as they go through turn 12. Lots of little rehearsals. There's so many lines around that corner, and when it comes to the final lap, of course the racing line doesn't matter. It's where you can get through, really.
Yeah, really, especially the last turn here. I don't think in the Underbones there is a correct racing line for the last lap. I think it's whichever gets you just whichever that cuts across everyone and just gets you to the checker flag as quick as you can. Yeah, that's the one.
Just a little chink of daylight, and there you go. Yeah, that's about it.
I must say, Gupta Krishna having a good session out so far. 0.6 seconds up ahead.
Yeah, that's not a bad time for to open up with, the 2:01 that he's showing there. So yeah, nice work from him.
Just looking at Giancarlo Mauricio as he makes his way around. A lot of the UMA bikes still out. They haven't gone back to pit so far. Gupta Krishna, John Emerson and Guito, Modubil Vitoni, Ahmad Afif all have gone back to pit lane. So they have some adjustments for them to be made.
Yeah, just as a little marker here, Daniel. Gupita Krishna was fastest in qualifying when they came here back in March for round 1, and his fastest time in qualifying was 2 minutes 0.8. So this is surprisingly quick for actually for all of these, because Pirapong's only 0.6 behind him. So really good opening from these bikes, and nice track conditions. I mentioned qualifying, but of course, if you're first in qualifying on Friday, that doesn't really mean much for where you end up on the grid, because the top 15 qualifiers, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but the top 15 qualifiers go through to a Super Pole shootout, which determines the first 15 grid positions.
Yeah, I think as long as anyone ends up in the shootout, they should be in a pretty good position to be in the front group for the fight. Because then we can expect a lot of slipstreaming, a lot of battling all the way until, as we mentioned again before, the final turn. That is going to definitely be the decider. And I was just taking a walk, and when we were doing the track walk video that we posted, I just kept on emphasizing the fact that whoever comes around the final turn first and gets to the checkered flag first will be the champion when it comes to Sunday's races. Should it not be decided on Saturday.
That's right. Well, anything can happen. We've seen breakdowns and crashes amongst some of the best riders in this class, so it's so difficult to call. There's another really fast rider there, Hafiz Arofa for 1XOX TKKR. He's one to watch. I remember him coming from nowhere in Sepang in round 2 to take a victory. Or nowhere, I mean, he was just buried in the group, and suddenly he just shot through and took the win. Yeah, well remembered, Barry. That was race 1, round 2. That doesn't usually happen.
Just looking at the championship contender, Zhang, he's gone back into pit lane, so he's down there in 8th. Lap to 203.9, so quite a bit more he needs to find if he wants to secure a top 5 spot. But for now, it is just the first practice, so plenty of time for him and the team to make adjustments.
Yeah, he's at 3 victories this season, so he's the most frequent race winner. Waiwaji has been really consistent. He's got 1 race win, 3 second places and a 3rd, and that is really what it takes. And right on cue, there is Waiwaji Trilaksana.
So far this season, he's found himself at the top 3 and the top 3 in the finish for every occasion except for race 2 round 2 and race 2 round 3. In every other race, he's had a podium in 3rd position or better.
Yeah, he's looked like a champion right from the start in the way that he's ridden and finished. And I think psychologically, he believes this is his championship. Izzat Zaidi, of course, has very different ideas about that. But Waiwaji, this is really him back to his best after 2 or 3 fallow seasons. His championship year was 2016, I think, which he clinched in the final round here. Big celebrations and costumes, and a big show put on by him to celebrate that win. After that, he just seemed to lose his form a little bit, but this season, after the 2-season COVID break, he's looked really back to his best.
He'll definitely be trying to work with the teammate, I would expect. They do have the numbers to make some sort of a formation to ensure that he gets to the front and stays at the front. Because with an 11-point lead, it's quite a good chunk to defend from, and he can take the risk of not having to take a risk in the first race especially. so long that Izzat Zaidi finishes somewhere below them.
Yeah, and what a team it is. I mean, you can see three there. Ahmed Fazli Sham, veteran and always fast. You can never count him out. Hafisa Rofa, we mentioned, terrifically fast rider, and Wayuaji himself. And who have I missed? 3 or 4. Oh, they got 3 bikes, right?
Yeah, definitely. Looking at the timing as well, Ahmed Sham, Hafiza Rofa, they're 4th and 5th, and Wayuaji, he's down in 8th. So it looks like this might be the tactic that they will use for the 2 races that we had this weekend. Just the 3 of them riding together, making sure that Wayuaji gets to the front of the group, because by the looks of it, the pace is more or less there. They're about a second off Gupita's time, but then again, Gupita's time is a very, very fast time indeed. That's 201.5.
Yeah, just looking down, we've got, in fact, we've got 2 Thai wildcards here. Thurikid Buapa. I think he likes to be called Buapa, and that's a little easier for us, I think. And Pascon San Luang. Pascon is riding for Team One for All. Okay, so he's got a good mentor in his team in the shape of Pirapong Louis Bumpeng. And Buapa is standing in. We should mention as well that Ayman Tairuddin is not here this weekend. He's not fit to race, so he's been replaced by Thurikid Buapa. So we'll see how he goes, because Cardinals have got really good machines, really fast riders, and when we've seen them at FIFA Imran, and up at the front consistently. Ayman Tairuddin up at the front consistently, but not finishing consistently. But very, very quick riders. And again, this is working well, isn't it? There is FIFA Imran coming into the pits. Yeah, as Wayuaji goes through.
Yeah, but we were just mentioning the 2 Thai wildcards, and Buapa has just gone up a few places, up into 14. He's improved his previous lap time by 3 seconds nearly, so he seems to be getting the feeling into the bike.
Yeah, good work by him. Underbone racing is not as big in Thailand as it is in say, Malaysia, Philippines, and Indonesia. It's used for mostly for the youngsters coming through, and then they tend to go on to conventionally configured motorcycles. But Gupita still sits at the top with that 201.5.
I think he's just come out again, so he's sat in his pit box for, I think, about 20 minutes nearly. And I think he's realized that everyone else is starting to pick up the pace, so maybe it might be time to try and improve it a bit further.
Yeah, well, he's obviously pleased with the setup of the bike and pacing himself a little bit. Ahmed Fazli Sham also in the pits, and we saw Wayuaji. He's out on track. Yeah, most of these riders are out on track. We're suddenly, where did the time go? We're just over 7 minutes left in this session.
Yeah.
And 178 going through. That's Nguyen An Tuan, one of 2 Vietnamese riders in this class. It's always good to see these guys in here. They're running 3 bikes. They've got two Underbones and an AP250, which we'll have a look at in the next session. But in this class, we've got Nguyen Antoine and Nguyen Duc Tan.
Yeah, they've had a difficult season, both the Vietnamese riders, but they will be looking to try and finish off the season on a high. Currently looking at Antoine, his time is not too far from the group in front of him, so if he can find a little bit more, he should be able to be well within the point scoring positions. Now it is a bit of a challenge for the team. It's been a learning season for them, I think.
Yeah, it has, and they've done okay. They've had their ups and downs. They had, I think it was Nguyen Antoine had a fire in pit lane in Sugo, so it hasn't been smooth sailing for them at all. But they have been here. They've been getting experience of the big tracks. There's nothing they can do at home. There are no tracks to race on, so they had 2 years of nothing. And at least in Thailand, in Malaysia, in Philippines and Indonesia and India, we had domestic racing. So the effort has been admirable from those guys.
Yeah, definitely. We hope that with the data and everything that they've gotten from this season, that they will be able to push on forward into a good season. Oh, just speaking about them.
And there we go, that's an engine gone. Well, is it an engine gone? He's got some smoke coming out and a bit of bodywork hanging off, so...
Yeah, I'm confused at how that's fallen off the belly pan.
Yeah.
And whether that smoke was from the belly pan scraping the ground or from...
Yeah. It looked like kind of bluish from the exhaust.
Yeah, it looked like it was blue smoke, like what would indicate engine oil burning, but yeah, not too sure. But the good news is he's okay, and I hope that the bike isn't too badly damaged.
For sure. And somebody looking like they're in business now is John Emerson in Guito on the number 22 machine there. John Emerson's season. He's lying 7th in the championship. 63 points. He's scored 2 podiums, one in Sepang round 2 and one at Sugo in round 3. So he's got plenty of speed, and you can see that is oh, that's interesting. That's that's Buapa on the Cardinals machine going through there. He looks aggressive, doesn't he?
He does, and he has improved on that lap as well. He's gone up into 11th position now, so Buapa looking really, really strong.
And that's another, well, the bike is easy to spot, but so is the... where's he going?
I was about to question whether that's an alternative racing line.
Yeah. But, yeah, what I was going to say was that the number is very distinctive. It's a lucky number in Thailand, 555. The number 5 in Thailand is pronounced Ha, so it's a laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's traveling here, which is something that I learned as well. When you see 555, that just means that the sound is like laughing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, much sought after in this part of the world. And that's Pirapong going through there, just ahead of Nazrul Izzat and Shafiq Rosli. Shafiq would like a good finish to the season. Quick rider, but we haven't seen the best of him. Nazrul, we've seen some really good performances from him, but a few low scores, a DNS in round 1, a DNF in the last round, and 2 more rounds when he scored 2 points or less. So that's compromised his season. Doesn't really reflect how the caliber of the rider. So this is a nice little bit of sparring on track from Pirapong and the 2 Uma machines.
Yeah, we got Shafiq and Nazrul Izzat there, well, the mix of Pirapong. And yeah, looking at the timings, they're not doing too bad at all. Pirapong will be looking to try and close the gap a bit between him and Gupita, and he definitely does. A 2:01.669 from Pirapong, just 0.175 seconds behind Gupita Kresna. And Wayaji as well, he's up in 3rd.
Yeah, Wayaji's been plying his trade quietly. We haven't seen so much of him on screen, but he knows exactly what he needs to do here. I think he'll be coping with the pressure well. Okay, exceed track limits warning. It's not so important in first free practice session. There is Gupita Krishnan, number 23, just riding around on the outside of that group. As we were saying, there are many lines, and he's just cruising at the moment. That's the other team, One for All machine, the 410 machine of Oi Uwezu. Both very quick riders, Pirapong and Oi Uwezu. But this season the results haven't really come their way. But they'll be hoping that the lack of pressure coming from their esteemed mentor will result in some good performances here.
Yeah, just over a minute left now in practice 1, and the picture is starting to come slightly clear, but then again, it is just the first practice. We have the second practice in qualifying all to be done. But for now, YUIG looking pretty strong in third, and if we look down the order, we'll find Izzat Zaidi just under his teammate Hafiz Arofa. YUIG's teammate Hafiz Arofa in fifth place. So Izzat is not doing too bad as well. Time-wise, it's going to be quite the battle coming into race 1.
Yeah, the times are quick, as we were saying earlier, for the first free practice session. I'd have guessed that the best times would have been low 202s for this one, and actually we're in the mid 201s. And there comes championship contender, championship chaser, Izzat Zaidi Salahan. And there's Boapa again, 555. He's got that's Shafiq Rosli just dipping inside him, so he's in good company. Try and get some background on Boapa as we go through the action today.
Yeah, I was just looking at some information that we have about Boapa. He is domestically in the championship. He is a champion of the 400cc junior class for the R2M championship. He's had experiences in the R3 Euro Cup, so it's definitely no slouch, Boapa.
Sure.
He's also participated in the Asia Talent Cup as well as the Thailand Talent Cup. So experience all around for Turkish Boapa. So it's no surprise really to see him contesting up into the point scoring positions for this Underbone 150 class.
Yeah, even though he's not used to riding a bike that's this shape. So yeah, obviously some good quality there. Yeah, there was a bit of a buzz going around Thailand about when the news about the wildcards got out. I had a couple of messages from Thai riders saying, "Oh, I know one of my friends has got a wildcard ride. Can I get one?" On Wednesday this was, so yeah. You can hope. Checkered flag's out now for this this session, and it does look like it belongs to Gupita. April King we're just looking at there, the number 43 Uma machine. His best time 202.6, pretty decent. There's Wayuaji going through comfortably. A lot of riders just wandering off that last time round. That will cost them dearly if they do that when the race comes around. But that's a pretty decent session in what looked like really perfect conditions.
Yeah, I think definitely the temperatures were really good this morning, nice and cool. The sun is out, it's dry. And then we're getting a good shot at the LED board, the new LED board at the Chang International Circuit. A very nice addition.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, and here are the results. So Gupita Krishna, this session belongs to him, 201.494. Just behind him, Pirapong Nui Bumpeng for Team One for All. Hafiz Arofa, third. Fourth, Wayuaji Triliksana. Fifth, Izzat Zaidi. Two championship contenders together. Sixth, Nazrul Izzat. Seventh, Ahmad Fazli Sham. And eighth, fastest Filipino, April King Moscado. His teammate just with him, John Emerson Nguito, Shafiq Rosli, 10th, 11th, Giancarlo Maurizio, 12th, Thurikit Boapa, 13th, Hafid Pradamaditya, 14th, Pascon San Luang, wildcard, 15th, Dimas Juli at Mocha, and 16th, Murabil Vitoni. A few more. Afif Amran down in 17th, Jordan Bardaru also very quick here normally, 18th, 19th, Nguyen Antoine, and 20th is Vietnamese teammate Nguyen Duc Tam. So we've got a very short break until the next session, meaning about 6 minutes. So we're going to take a quick breather now, and we'll be back with the AP250 class. Plenty of talking points there. So stay with us, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. Welcome back to the showdown. This is the 5th and final round of the FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. Coming to you live from Chang International Circuit in Buriram, Thailand. And as promised just a few minutes ago, coming out on track now are the AP250 machines. And like the other 4 classes, the titles will be decided over the next 3 days, including this one, but of course the races are tomorrow and Sunday. Leading the championship is Andy Mohammed Fadli. We'll talk about that in just a few moments, but I'm Barry Russell, working together happily today with Daniel Bogas, who you would have seen if you were watching before the Underbones came out. Daniel, plenty of things to talk about in the AP250. Andy Fadli, of course, leading the championship. He was imperious in the first part of the season, and then his performances have dropped off for reasons that we can discuss a little bit further. But after the championship, chasing him hard is the youngest rider in this category, Aldi Satya Mahendra, for Yamaha Racing Indonesia. And so this is looking like a really interesting battle. Aldi comes in 25 points behind, so a win behind Andy Mohammed Fadli. So it's a bit of an ask for Aldi, but also the restrictions that Andy Fadli's carrying on his machine make it difficult for him to get a really good finish, and particularly to finish on the podium.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because we saw the way the Astra Honda team racing team have been working together in Sepang as well, especially. It really worked so well, and I think, especially in a track like this where Andy Mohammed Fadli is really going to feel that RPM deficit, this is a big opportunity for the Hondas. They can really lock out the podium, but then again, anything can happen in racing, but they do have that strength in the team to do so.
Well, we've seen it before, to be fair. Astra Honda lockout in qualifying and the podium, and there's 2 of them out there right now. Reza Danica we haven't seen. Reza Danica RNs. He's got 92 points in the championship, so he's 29 points adrift of championship leader Andy Mohammed Fadli. So it's kind of interesting that we've got, you would have expected at the start of the season this to be a shootout between Reza and Fadli, wouldn't you? But Aldi Satya has inserted himself in there rather skillfully for Yamaha Racing Indonesia. So it's not as straightforward as that. So 3rd, 4th and 5th place in the championship are Astra Honda. Adananta Putra, the best of them, in P3 on 94 points. So you can see it's very, very tight. 96 for Aldi, 94 for Adananta, and 92 for Reza. On screen there is Aiki Iyoshi, the championship leader's teammate. Andy Fadli, of course, is the championship, the 2019 champion, and therefore the defending champion, and he's defending the championship lead this year. Aiki Iyoshi, very quick Japanese rider, although he hasn't got the finishes that he's wanted this season. He's had just 2 podiums at Sepang, when he scored a 3rd and a 2nd place. He had a disastrous outing in Sugo, once because of rain and once because of a strange mechanical mishap that prevented him from finishing in race 2. And he had another DNF back at Sepang in the last round, and a nil point finish.
Yeah, it's been a really difficult one for Aiki Iyoshi. He's when he's good, we've seen him right up there with his teammate Andy, but yeah, it's just been a hit and miss season for Aiki. So he'll be looking to try and finish it on a high. And he'll definitely need to be up in the mix with his teammate to try and help him out, because we shouldn't forget that Aldi Satya in Sepang as well, he was very strong. But I remember talking to Aldi, and he said the difficulty for him was being the only Yamaha. he didn't have any help, so he was just sandwiched in between the Hondas, and it was a battle.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other thing to say about Aldi is that I believe that he's feeling no pressure coming into this. I think he's just easy with it. I mean, he's what, 16 years old? Is he 17 yet? And for sure, I'd have had the same attitude at that point. He just, I asked him about the pressure in the interview yesterday, and he just kind of looked at me blankly. It's like, huh? Pressure?
What's pressure?
But we've seen that from him all the time, right from when he exploded into the Underbone class as a 13-year-old and took a win at Suzuka.
Yeah.
He's a special rider for sure.
Yeah, I think for him as well, it's a pretty simple mission. It's either that you win both races and hope for the best. So there's not much for him to think about. So it is a clearer mind coming in. So a great shout out to Pio Apatumios. He was the fastest in this session momentarily, but now Reza Danica and Adinanta Putra have taken up at the front.
Yeah, Reza always goes really well here. The track suits him, and Reza's been on really good form this season. He had a P2 in that kind of freakish rainy race at Sugo, race 1, and he had a DNF in race 2, and that's of course compromised his championship position. But you have to finish.
Yeah, especially in Sepang as well. He had a difficult start to the weekend. I remember he had a pretty awkward crash. So did his teammate. So in the first race, he collected 13 points just off the podium, and no points at all. I think, if I remember correctly, it was at the last turn he had a fall. So yeah, that beckons the question of, if he didn't fall, how much closer would the championship be? But then again, that's racing. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and in live commentary, we don't have time for counterfactuals, right? But yeah. But Reza is at his best. He's been at his best this season. Just the luck hasn't gone with him. And talking about Yamahas, there's rather a quick one, and another one you can write off. The Yamaha of Ray Ratakore, who of course is riding for Team 1XOX TKKR. But he's the best of, apart from Aldi, he's the best of the Yamahas. And always a rider to watch in this category. He's so quick and he's so tactically clever. Whatever mechanical disadvantages he ever encounters, he seems to be able to ride around them. He's a really strong individual.
Yeah, I just love when I asked him the question last round about how is he feeling coming into this championship for this season, knowing that there's so many young riders coming up. And he just laughed it off and said, yeah, well, it's great to see all these fast riders coming up. It's a challenge, but I have fun.
Yeah, and I think he does. He's got this kind of grumpy demeanor, but actually he's a very funny guy.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so Hergen at the top there. All three Astra Honda riders, as you'd expect, have gone really well. Wildcard just going through there, 149, running with some of the fast riders there. That's Jakrapat Putisan, who's with Honda Racing Thailand, so he will be on their talent list, and a rider that they're giving an opportunity to. There he goes, just dipped up inside. I think that was Rafid Topan. So he's going to want to make an impression. Honda Racing Thailand, you could compare them, if you're more familiar with Astra Honda, you could compare them with Honda Racing Thailand in terms of the way they develop talent, bring them through. The rider coach for Honda Racing Thailand is none other than Ratapat Willarot, an accomplished GP rider. Hung up his leathers, in my opinion, a little bit early. A couple of years ago, I was trying to persuade him to go into endurance racing. I thought that would have been a good place for him, but he's found his position as a rider coach for Honda Racing Thailand, and he's really well respected. So we've got there Hergen Andy Fadley getting some much-needed slipstream from the wild card and using it wisely, nipping up inside to go ahead of him. And we'll be seeing a lot of that for sure from Andy Fadley. Just to talk a little bit about his mechanical disadvantage. There is, we do have a system of what were we calling it in Japan? Equalization.
Yeah, the equalizer.
So what happens is when a rider gets 50 points or more ahead of the rider in 6th place in the standings, they get a 500 RPM cut on their rev limit, and that's happened twice to Andy Fadley, so he's 1,000 RPM down. And that's if you listened carefully to what he said in the interview we did with him yesterday. That was the source of his discontent. He's found it really difficult for the second half of the season because of that rev cut.
Yeah, it's quite a chunk to have taken out of your limit, the 1,000 RPM. So I remember he mentioned it quite a bit in Sepang, and he was saying that it's a bit difficult now, especially coming into the Chang International Circuit. We know it's a circuit which is very high speed, and we could see just now when he was with the wildcard Jakibad Putusan, he was struggling to try and pull away. He was just trying to fight with the slipstream, trading positions, and then into the corners. You can see that he's really having to go in deep, taking some risks. And yeah, it's going to be quite an uphill battle for him because he's in 7th now. And you can see he's about 2 seconds off the pace of Herjun Adna and the Astra Honda riders.
Yeah. Well, for sure, the Motor Snipers team will be working hard on the mapping to just get whatever advantage they can from that machine. But like you said, there are 3 very fast sections of this racetrack, and Andy's going to need all the slipstream that he can get. As we look here at Piawat Patumios, the 188, he crossed the line first in race 1 back in March, but he'd exceeded track limits and at the final turn and got bumped down a place to P2. So he has crossed the line this season first. He will be expecting perhaps to take a win, or at least be on the podium in both races, Piawat. This hasn't been the ideal season for him, let's say. Best finish, I think it was here. It was, yeah, that P2 in race 1 here when he was bumped down. And he's had another podium. He was 3rd in Sugo in that weird race 1. Yeah, I mean, Piawat, he seemed to pick up slightly from Sugo onwards. In Sepang as well, he wasn't too bad in round 4. It was unfortunate he had a DNF in the first race, but picked up a good chunk of points in the second race. So I think he's well informed. Currently in practice as well, he's 4th place. So I think we can expect something special from Piawat. Although he does have to muscle up the 3 Astra Hondas in front of him if it stays like this. Yeah, just looking down the wild cards here. Actually, no, Tse Leong Nang. I think he's not a wild card, the Hong Kong rider. It's good to have him in here. He's a senior rider. He's been racing for 26 years, and just sees this as a challenge he wants to take up. So good to have that spread of nationalities, and to see, we'd like to see more riders from Hong Kong, Singapore, definitely Taiwan. Yeah, for Singapore now we have one representative, Arshad Rushdie, yeah, in the TVS One Make. So it's great to see, as you mentioned, a lot of riders from different parts of Asia, and we'll to see more as we head on to the next season. But for now, it is the 2022 championship finale. And you can see Piawat just running off there on track, and he's still doing a decent job so far this practice session. Maintained 4th place. Yeah, halfway point into the pits. So that's good job so far by him. He tends to qualify very well as well, Piawat. And who have we got here? Ah, there's somebody we should talk about. That's Cao Vietnam, the senior, yeah, really the senior Vietnamese rider out of everybody. We've seen some really good performances from him in the Asia Talent Cup. He's podium there, so there's plenty of quality and determination with him. He was funny yesterday in the interview. He said what inspires him for racing. He said, I just love motorcycles. He said, when I have my breakfast, I think about motorcycles. When I have my lunch, I think about motorcycles. When I go to sleep, I dream about motorcycles. This motorcycle he's got for this weekend is a brand new one. He has tried it, so it'd be good to see if the team have been able to really get that going. At the moment, his best time is 1:56.7, so that's more than 3 seconds off the quickest rider so far. That's He Jun on 53.4, so that's the marker. Two riders in the 153s. Both Astra Hondas. What a surprise.
Yeah, it's really a replication of what we saw last time in Sepang. The Astra Honda racing team riders just blitzing the pack. But I must say, Cao Vietnam, he's looking pretty good on that new Honda. He's well within the group in front of him, so he'll be not too far from the likes of Ray Ratakore, Akid Aziz. So he should have a good battle within the point scoring positions.
Yeah, he's got Setu Rajiv just behind him. So talking about countries that we like to see more of in this series, Setu Rajiv, very well known back home Indian rider. We're used to seeing him 2 or 3 seasons, I think, now in AP250s. They've been working recently with none other than Taddy Okada as their rider coach. That's Setu and also Senthil Chandrasekaran.
Senthil has been pretty decent as well. If I remember correctly, in Sepang we saw him fight well within the points, scoring a good chunk in the second race. So maybe they can try and push on forward. Setu Rajiv as well in round 4, not doing too bad. The pair of them, I remember at one point they looked like they were going to be fighting within the top 10 all throughout the weekend. But definitely when it came into the race, it was a bit of a fight going on within that mid pack. So they'll be looking to try and push them forward. But it's good to see the improvements that have come to the team.
Yeah, for sure. We hope they can keep making that progress. It's important for them to be competing in this championship and with riders of international standard, of like this rider you can see on your screen, Adananta Putra, very much in form at the moment. You'd have to say he's the form rider. The last 3 finishes, win, second. So he's really taken a step up in his career, and I think psychologically he now really sees himself as a race winner and a contender. And He Jun just behind him, coming into this final round in 5th place, but he won race 2 at Sepang. So at the moment, and certainly in terms of airtime, they're eclipsing their senior teammate Reza Danica. But I suspect that won't be the case when we get to business time. Reza's on 154 dead. So yeah, it's in terms of this session, it's a lockout provisional lockout anyway for Astra Honda.
I mean, they just come so strong into the season, and it's really just been so impressive, the work that they've put in and what the riders have done. And currently they really look untouchable, because all the way down now, it's just the 3 Astra Honda riders in the top 5. Then it's Piawat Patumyas and Anggi Setiawan, and then everyone below that, below Aldi Satya, are 2 seconds off the pace that Herjanatna is setting, and that really is quite a gap in the AP250 class.
Yeah, it certainly is. And shout for Anggi Setiawan, another Yamaha, currently the best Yamaha, ahead by 0.6 of Aldi Satya.
He's not doing too bad at all. He's also within the reach of the timing of Adinanta and Reza Danica, so if this pattern carries forward, he should be able to be right behind the front three Astra Honda riders.
Yeah, so if he can stay with or ahead of Aldi Satya, that will give Aldi perhaps a little bit of help that he might need over the next couple of days. A lot of riders running off at the moment. That was Herjan just going wide. Andy Fadley on the back of that group, looking for a tow from his teammate, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to say Andy's going to really need his teammate to help him out for this championship battle. But as of right now, Aiki Yoshi is all the way down in 13th. He is about 3.3 seconds off the pace of Herjan. So Andy's about 1.2 seconds faster. So if Aiki Yoshi can just close the gap between himself and Andy throughout the sessions, then I think Andy will get the help that he needs, because without Slipstream, it's going to be a very difficult race 1 and race 2 for Andy Muhammad Fadli.
Yeah, you'd have to anticipate that for Andy, you will see him qualify reasonably well and probably hang on towards the back of the leading group. That would be my guess. And just being as clever as he can to pick up places here and there, and he is clever. So I think you might see a champion's performance from Andy Fadley this weekend. He's definitely up for it. More, yeah, as I was saying, there's a few warnings going out for people exceeding track limits. Piawat's got one, and so has Muzakir Mohammed. Just on the back of that group is Akid Aziz. He's just behind Andy Fadley. Akid Aziz, I've been waiting all season for him to grow into this category. It would be really good to see the former Underbone champion come through and show what he can do on a 250. What's your view about Akid?
Yeah, I think Akid has always been someone with talent, but sometimes I think that his size might be a factor to his advantage and his disadvantage, because I think when he's about the height of Danny Pedrosa, I would imagine. And yeah, I think the difficulty for him is trying to be as aggressive as the other riders who have the weight and muscle to throw the bike in certain corners. But when he is smooth, when he's feeling confident, Akid is nearly untouchable. So I really hope to see him growing further into that top 3 fight. I think he can.
Yeah, I think he can. The reason for mentioning it is that I know his quality, and I really want to see it come through in this class. And there's one of those golden black LFN machines going through. That's the number 93 of Fitrianza Kete.
Yeah, I was going to say Rafid Topan, he wasn't out on track for the majority of the session. He only did 1 lap and went back in. So right now he's just come out to set some flying laps. So I think maybe there was some issue with his bike when he came out earlier on.
Right, just looking for Aldi Satya. He's somewhere in the final sector, but we haven't seen too much of him in this session. Oh, thank you. Works brilliantly, doesn't it?
And like magic, now we have Aldi Satya on screen. 9th fastest. He's dropped down because Aiki Yoshi has improved. He's gone up into 8th.
Right. Yeah.
So, and Andy Muhammad Fadli, that's completely gone past us. He's just gone up into third.
Well, we said he was clever. And by the way, the magic all happens next door.
Yeah. I must say, that is really impressive for Andy to get 0.3 seconds behind Herjanatna with that RPM deficit. That's really, really impressive.
Yeah, and that's one reason I think he will qualify well, because he is so clever and determined, and I think he'll get a good plan. It must be get a good grip position, and stay with the leading group and just do as well as he can.
It's more or less what we saw in Sepang. I remember in qualifying in round 4, apologies. He was nowhere to be seen, and then out of nowhere he just puts in, I think it was a top 5 lap time. We didn't expect him to be anywhere within the front 8, but out of nowhere he just did an amazing lap time, and looks like he's doing that as well once again here at Chang.
Yeah, he's just been bumped down a place by Piawat, but that's not such a big deal in this first session. Have a couple of minutes left, so let's take a look at the young title contender Aldi Satya Mahendra. Great rider to have in this category. Great to see someone on a Yamaha challenging so hard and so consistently. I mean, we've seen him bounce back from injuries. It's not just like he's a talented young rider. He's mentally really tough and in good shape. And like I said yesterday, what pressure. He has that on his side as well. So, riding alone at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like he's just finding his own pace, trying to figure out what can be done to help him with his charge for the championship this weekend. So just finding it all out while he rides solo. For now, he's down into 10th, with everyone else improving across the top 10. Herjanatna's time doesn't look that special anymore, with everyone closing the gap.
Yeah, we've got 4 in the 153s, and Reza Danica just on a 54. So yeah, it's as tight as you would expect, really, in this class.
Yeah, we're getting the second warning for Muhammad Muzakir, as well as Sinto Chandrasekaran for track limits.
Well, I suppose it's good to warn them early. But in the first session, they need to get used to the track again and find the limits and so on. So Ike Ayoshi, I think, running in front of Andy Fadley. I think they're just starting a lap here. So yeah, this will be the last time around for them. The checkered flag will come out in 20 seconds.
Yeah, Reza Danica has just gone out from pit lane, so this will be his first and last flying lap for this second stint. I believe Aldi Satya, he's just come across the line, so he will have one more lap in it.
Yeah, but without slipstream, as is this man, the 2018 champion Reza Danica RNs. Again, riding alone, which is relatively unusual for Astra Hondas. We kind of used to seeing them running together.
Yeah, it's strange. Herjanatna and Adinat Putra, his teammates, have just gone back into pit lane, so I think perhaps Reza's bike had an issue that wasn't resolved, so now they're just testing it out once again. Speculation, of course, but as you mentioned, it's rare to see them not out in it as a trio.
Yeah, Angie Setiawan holding up there as well in 6th place. I think that's a really good performance too, 154.4. It's a second off the fastest time, but the fastest Yamaha at the moment. Kid Aziz also pretty decent, 154.5.
Yeah, we're just mentioning about a kid's quality, and yeah, he's not doing too bad at all. 1.1 seconds off Herjanatna's time.
And the Honda Racing Thailand wildcard, Jakrapat, in 9th on a 155, so decent first session for him.
Oh, Piawat Petumias, he's just gone fastest now, 153.051. 0.3 seconds faster than Herjanatna.
Yeah, and honestly, Daniel, if you're a betting man, I would put Pirouette on pole tomorrow morning. I would honestly. So there goes the checkered flag, and nice cheeky little late burst from Pirouette to lead the session. So let's just run down those. The start line. Sorry, the start line board looks really good, doesn't it, with the light graphics on it. Buriram Castle. That doesn't look much like a castle, does it? Let's run down the results. First, with that late burst, Pirouette Patumios. Second, Herjanatna Fardos. His Astra teammate Adananta Putra in third. Fourth, Andy Mohammed Fadli, good showing from him. Reza Danica Arens fifth. Angie Setyawan, best of the Yamahas, sixth. Seventh, Akira Ziz. And eighth, Aiki Iyoshi. Span there from 153 to 154.7. And in ninth, the wildcard Jack Rapat for Honda Racing Thailand, 10th. Aldi Satya Mahendra, 11th, Muzakir Mohammed, couple of warnings for him. Ray Ratakuri in 12th, Rafit Topan Suchipto in 13th, 14th Cal Vietnam on the new Honda, Fitrian Zakete in 15th, 16th, Idlan Hakimi Radwan. Rounding off, 17th Setu Rajiv, Honda Racing India, 18th his teammate Sendil Chandrasekaran, 19th Irfan, and 20th the Hong Kong rider Sir Leong Nang. So that brings us to the end of the 250 session. Next on track will be the Super Sport 600s, which Daniel will be going through with you. We're going to cycle throughout the day because it's a long old day, Daniel.
Sure is. We go all the way down up until 5:35 p.m. for the Underbone 150s qualifying. So we do have a qualifying session on Friday today. So look out for that.
Okay, we'll be back in just a few minutes for the 600s. So stay with us.